Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Alanna Fox Starks. Starting the podcast at 11:11. The doorway is open for all your dreams and desires on this new moon, April 5th, 2019. Oh my goodness. This is a terrific day, energy-wise. I went to bed early, around 11-ish, 12-ish. Decided to watch TV in bed, which is a no-no. You should never do this, but I did anyway. My son wanted to watch a movie that I felt would not be conducive to good dreams. It wasn't a bad movie, but just it would have upset me, I think. So, being the empath that I am, I said, you go ahead, enjoy your movie. I'm going to go in my room and lay down, maybe go to bed. And then I got started watching this show, and the show was about forgiveness and keeping secrets. And then when you let the secrets out, how much better you feel. And even though it takes time, people do forgive you. And it was such a sweet message. I was like, oh, in time, forgiveness does occur. In time, you could forgive yourself, you could forgive others, and others can forgive you. And that was the lesson of the show I watched. So it was like over the course of 2 episodes. So I stayed up until around 2, and I started this ASMR video on, it was like a castle library. So you hear scribbles in the background and paper crinkling and the occasional meow, and you hear the fire going. And it's so romantic and cozy. And I hear the paper turning, and I imagine it's my future love, my twin flame, reading my screenplay. And there's so much paper turning because it's a page turner and he can't put it down. That's what I was thinking about anyway. So today is the day. Oh, the day. 1 month and 1 day ago, I started looking for an advertiser to help me advertise. I had started with Facebook. I paid $38 and got 2 people favoriting my podcast. So if you came here from Facebook, thank you. You're one of 2 people. I just felt like, I need to spend my money more wisely. So I started looking and looking and looking and looking. And I started meditating, and then I looked again, and I immediately found a website. And they said, we have 110,000 subscribers, most of which have been with us for 20 years. And they buy most of the things that we send them. And I'm like, wow, I don't even need anyone to buy anything. I just want listeners. I just want people to listen to the podcast. And when I hit a certain number, I'm not going to tell anybody, but when I hit a certain number of subscribers, I'll start I'm going to start rolling out like freebies, like maybe a bonus track of a meditation or a bonus hypnosis or a bonus creative visualization. So, keep listening because, these kind of things are going to start happening. So I'm like, well, okay, what do I do? And I wrote the longest, most convoluted, confusing email to this man. And he said, well, that's going to take a bit to unravel, so I'll get back to you. And it's been 1 month and 1 day. But back then they had 110,000 subscribers. A week and a half ago, I checked and they had 111 subscribers. Well, I prayed about this a lot, and God said, you know what, Alanna, you need to wait until Mercury is direct. You know how you are with your Virgo energy, and you know how you jump into things during Mercury retrograde, and they're always undone, just like, oh, well, hope you loved that job. It's over now. Bye. Oh, she didn't need maternity leave after all. It turned out to be gas. No. I'm just kidding. That one never happened, but it would be hilarious if it did. But so anyway, I have this stupid habit of not looking at the calendar, not paying attention to the cosmos, and jumping feet first into something. And then 3 weeks later, I lost all my money. I wasted all my time. Whatever it is. That was like the crappiest relationship. What the hell? It was only 3 weeks, but what the hell? I mean, so I listened this time. Have grown a little wiser in my perpetual age of 29. So yeah, God said, wait until April 5th. So of course, yesterday I'm like, can I start on this other advertiser I found? Nope. Everyone's tomorrow. Do I do both tomorrow? Yes. That's your only priority for tomorrow is, go to the pharmacy. Thanks God for the reminder, and do advertising. So I did it. I jumped in with feet first, a pretty large portion of my savings into, Deepak Chopra's advertiser. And I did not know that when I had already made the decision. I had already made the commitment. I had already verbally stated to this person I was going to go with him. And then he sent me all these testimonials, and one was from Deepak Chopra. 3 days ago, I renamed my Google Chromecast, used to be called Invisible Dragon Penis, because you can't see it, but it's very, very big. I don't know why I did that. It's just, that was the name, Invisible Dragon Penis. And I thought maybe it's starting to be a little inappropriate, probably making my son a little bit uncomfortable. But then he got totally comfortable with it. So I no longer have to point out that he's uncomfortable with that. So I changed it to Merlin's Watchtower, because I feel like, if Merlin has any part of a castle, it's going to be the Watchtower, and he's going to watch the moon like I don't, watch the sun like I do. So anyway, so now my Google Chromecast is Merlin's Watchtower. Well, I got a whole bunch of emails from this guy suddenly today. I asked him a question today, and after he said it's going to take some time to think about it, and a whole month and a whole day go by and I don't hear from him. And then last night I wrote him thinking I'm going to need a jump start, and he'll see it today, and that will still be in compliance with what my higher guidance said. And he wrote me back immediately, and he's written me 6 times, and we have tons of stuff in common, and he's literally the coolest person maybe I've ever met, ever. And his nickname is Merlin. And Deepak Chopra calls him Merlin. And here I'm looking at my things as Merlin. A couple weeks ago, I channeled Merlin. So I have all kinds of Merlin in my life now. And I'm so happy about that. We all need a bit of magic. And I'm calling upon my Merlin and my magic, my power. And Mama Wata has been with me. And Goddess Hecate has been with me. Mother of all witches, she is called. And she is part of the Mama Wata pantheon. But she just has a Greek name for the people in Greece who, named her. Anyway, when I checked today, this morning, as of this morning, he just changed it. He just updated it. And guess how many people he has on his list, guys? 144,000. I about cried. I'm getting a tear just right now. 144,000 is what it takes to ascend into the 5th dimension for all of humanity, right? That's what everyone is getting, the number. We've all gotten it. It's in the Bible, but it doesn't say that. But 144,000 has to wake up, and then they have to wake up the second wave of us. And I'm in the second wave, and then we have to wake up the third wave. And then once that happens, the 100th human effect happens. And remember last Sunday, I did a show on the 100th monkey. And the 100th human is when just enough critical mass is reached. We all waken at once. And boy, isn't that going to be a fun fest. Can you imagine people who've been going around going, you're crazy. What are you, in a cult? And then a week later, they're going to be like, what's a chakra? I'm getting these weird tingling feelings. Why are my ears ringing? I have to go to the doctor. Oh my God, I feel hot and I don't know. Why am I having a hot flash? I'm 20 years old. And you're going to go, sit right down, son. I got something to tell you. And you're going to know everything you need to know because you're my subscriber. You're my listener and you have heard it all here, babe. So that's how it goes. So not only did I find my dream marketer who's helping me and holding my hand like I'm a little baby. And I'm like, what do I put in the ad? What the hell do I do? Oh, and also I'm advertising. I just sent a banner ad that will run for 6 whole months on witchschool.com, which I highly recommend, by the way, if you are new to witchery and you think you might be a hereditary witch, or maybe you're not, but you're interested in witchcraft and you want to go that route for your spirituality, I highly recommend witchschool.com. They've been around a long, long time. I'm an original charter lifetime member. So I take classes there all the time. Some of them are super fun. Some of them have nothing to do with witching, but they're like spiritual classes. They have meditation classes. They have all kinds of classes. And like a lot of the classes are free. And then, you could just go ahead and take them. But anyway, they're not paying me for this ad, so. But they did accept my ad. And they're like, not only do I like your ad, and I think it's wonderful and lovely. It's like super beautiful. The color is turquoise, of course, my favorite color. In fact, I'm wearing this color right now. And in fact, on my shirt, it says 1982. If that means anything to any of you, then yeah, you're welcome. It says California on it as well. My friend, he bought this shirt for $3, and he's like, you're not going to believe what I just found for $3. It is the coolest find ever. And it's a knockoff Abercrombie and Fitch, I think. It says Air Rocks on it. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so cool. It will fit me perfect. Look, it's just so beautiful with my eyes. And he's like, damn it, enjoy your t-shirt. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. But anyway, I'm wearing that shirt now, and it's this beautiful turquoise and the same color as my ad. And it's just, this whole day was about this. And I went out and I had to go buy some medicine. I'm actually sick a little bit, not real bad. I have walking pneumonia. And so I had to take a little breather, and literally I couldn't breathe for 2 days. And you noticed in my last 2 episodes, I was just like, I was like, and then, so I'm over that. I think, hopefully I won't have that much asthma in this episode. It was a very asthma episode, the last 2 episodes. And I'm checking my body. Is this crying syndrome? I'm upset about anything? I'm like, I'm literally upset about nothing. I actually feel really good. So, and is my twin going through something? No, he's actually fine. I'm like, oh man. I asked my higher guidance, and they're like, yeah, you need to be on amoxicillin 3 times a day. And so then I looked it up, and I'm like, sure enough, that was the prescription. So prednisone and amoxicillin it is for a week. It's okay, though. Thank God I could just walk to the pharmacy and get it. I don't have to go to the doctor and get sicker from someone else. But I was on prednisone before, and I went out downtown. I knew not to do it, and I did anyway and got sick. So it is what it is. When you get sick, it's usually a sign from your higher self. You need to relax a little bit more. You need to go within. You need to meditate more. And you need to stay at home and focus on the stuff you need to focus on. For me, it's my advertising campaigns. Oh my God. Can't believe I'm saying that. Whew. And I spent a lot of money today. And when I do spend this amount of money, my initial reaction is, all right, I did it. And then within 2 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, I did it. Oh my God, and I like panic over money. Today, this sense of peace and calm washed over me. And it was almost like, you're the motorcycle. I'm in the living room today. It's a different acoustic in here, but I was hoping it'd be less traffic, and that was like super loud. So anyway, this peace washed over me, and it was almost like God hugging me, kind of feeling. And I just felt like from this point forward, everything in my life is going to be 100% okay. Today is a day of new beginnings. Today is a day to start anew. The moon is a new moon today. Aries is go forward with your passion, move in the direction of your dreams, and that is what I'm doing. And I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. Even if you hear this 1 day late or 2 days late or 1 year late, it's never too late to move forward in the direction of your dreams. And I started this podcast at 11:11, so there you go. Oh, and one of my friends from Egypt called me, or he wrote to me, and he's like, so what happens when you see 11:11 like 3 times a day out of nowhere? And what is 555 again? And what is this? What is this? Why does this keep, and 1717, what is this? What? I'm really kind of freaking out here. Why does this keep happening to me? And I'm like, because you're ascending, God is talking to you. And he's like, oh, thank God it's positive. I didn't even know. I knew of all the people I know, you're the one that's going to know, sister. I'm like, yeah, I am. And he knew I did this podcast, and I don't think he ever listened to it because it's like he didn't resonate with it. Like, if you don't resonate with it, don't worry about it. You might like one episode and the rest, no. That's okay. He's Muslim. He's very, comes from a very strict family. Like, the women are not allowed to hug the men in the family. Very, very strict. And no hair can show, the whole 9 yards, I'm a Shia Muslim, so when I did wear a hijab, my hair was showing, and I'd like have one curl sticking out because it's kind of cute, It was just like, even when I tried to cover my hair has a mind of its own. So, anyway. Okay, without further ado, guys, I've got to tell you something. The Schumann resonance today, go put on 2 pairs of socks, baby. You're going to have them blown off. Put duct tape around them socks if you don't want them to blow off. What did I tell you yesterday? Let's go back. Yesterday, we went up to 89 hertz. Here's what it says today. 9 a.m. UTC time. Even today, strong activity. It is not common to see so many consecutive days of great variations. We'll see if even in April, as in March and February, we will have a very strong activity on the 17th. And then this is very mysterious, and I don't know why they said this. In parentheses, it says letter and then just a Q. So it says letter Q. Wait, very strong activity on the 17th, letter Q? This is weird. This is a clue to what I don't know. That I'm a queen. You all knew that anyway. Queen of crazy wisdom. So, I don't know. What does the letter Q mean to you guys? Oh my God. Write in, call in, send me an email at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. I mean, something. What the heck does this mean? Okay. And then it says, today the activity started with a small introductory peak at 20 hertz around midnight, and then suddenly increased to 30 hertz at 3 and 80 hertz at 5 UTC time. After this peak, there was a gradual decrease in the amplitude, and at 9 UTC, it is at 40 hertz. Note number 2. They write again at 11:30, so 2.5 hours go by, and they write, increased activity. After the last update in which there seemed to be a possible drop, we are instead back in the white with a powerful spike that reached 96 hertz at about 10:30. And then the third note, after the 96 hertz peak, the resonance frequency amplitude slowly started to go down, and in about 6 hours returned to normal levels. Okay, so let's go back here. So at 10:30, it reached 96. So basically, it was above 40 hertz. Being the fifth dimension, 40 hertz. Let me go back and read. Okay, so at 3 UTC time until 11 through, well, 17. So I don't know, like 14 hours, guys. The Earth itself, or it's not even 3D anymore, but it's the lower rung 5D Earth went way the hell up to, it was above 40 hertz for, well, almost a whole day. 17 minus 3, 14 hours. 1-4, there it is again, isn't it? 1:44 earlier, 14 now, 14 hours. Pretty cool. April is shaping up to be a pretty incredible month already. And this is only day 5. I wanted to recommend a YouTube channel for you on the days that you feel tired of all this. Angry, irritated, arrogant, jaded to the world, pissed off at life, depressed, sad, not wanting to deal with your crap. If you have not yet gotten rid of every little incident that has been stuck in your body and stuck in your subconscious mind and stuck in your emotional body and stuck in your psyche, I wanted to tell you guys about, let's see if I can remember it. It's a really long name. It's Richie's Rainbow Ride of Magical Motivations. This guy never ceases to cheer me up. Even on days in which I already feel the cheer, he still cheers me up. Makes me feel happier. If I feel happy, I feel happier. If I feel happier, I feel happiest after I listen to him. He's the best. He will be like talking, and his spirit guides will interrupt him really loudly inside his head, and he has to channel them, sometimes in light language. And he's like gathering all of these beings from all over the earth and all over the universe. And they're just like, they just channel through him, and he is really fabulous. Also, he is a dead ringer, like almost identical twin of my first husband. And my first husband was the sweetest, most amazing person ever. And I love him with all my heart. So, Tony, if you're listening, I still love you. I know you married again, and I'm happy. I hope you're happy. Anyway, 11:33. It's 11:33 right now. This is the energy of 11:33. And I'm looking at a purple and pink and golden light sky over the River Ganges in India, with what looks like thousands of candles floating on the river at sunset for the holiday Diwali. It's kind of like an equivalent of maybe like Christmas for Christians, but this is a special holiday for Hindus. And this reminds me, Goddess Lakshmi I did a ceremony and lit a candle for Goddess Lakshmi in preparation for today and advertising. And she said, you need to donate 7% after you make your first $10,000. I'm like, oh, I'm going to make $10,000. Woo. And she says, after your first $10,000, 7% has to go to charity, but it can be of your choice. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm probably going to start buying up a lot of arcs for Heifer International. And if you don't know about them, I highly recommend checking them out. Heifer International, if you give, even if you give like $20 or $25, you'll buy like a flock of ducks, and in 1 year's time, you will have saved 200 people. And which is usually like the equivalent of like a small village. And for $5,000, you save 200 villages immediately. So, and you just feed people. You teach them how to husbandry, not like actual animal marriage. Okay, don't do that. Don't marry animals. If you're in West Virginia, I don't want to hear about it. But anyway, there's laws that are different there. I don't even want to talk about it. But there are, these programs, and they send volunteers, and they teach people how to raise ducks and how to give them the right food so that they have high protein eggs. And then they will lay an egg every day, and your family all gets to eat. And then you start selling the rest of the village. And now you buy stuff for the books and the school children's supplies. And now they get to go to school, and now they can afford the taxi or whatever, or the bus. And so you not only change the life in the way that they're eating better, but now you're changing their lives in the way that now their children will have clothing and school supplies and an education. And it's an amazing, I love it. Heifer International and Kiva.org are my two favorite charities. Never mentioned that before, but I'm mentioning it now. Because I am promising publicly out loud to the whole wide world and universe and my beautiful, lovely goddess Lakshmi, who helps me from time to time. I'm plan on definitely giving 7%. I mean, if you want me to do it transparent, I will frickin' take a picture of the receipt and post it on my Facebook site, which is Metaphysical Soul Speak on Facebook. So anyway, without further ado, I am now going to go take a quick break. And when I come back, I am going to talk about judging people for what they do, judging people for doing something that you absolutely hate and abhor. And I'm going to tell you a story about somebody. Haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet. I'm going to take a break and think about this, but I think I'm going to tell you his story, and you're going to be like, ugh, why does she know him, right? Because if you have any judgments towards this sector of society, this part of society, I want you to pull it up to the surface. You could be angry at me, but I need you to listen. You have to promise me you're going to listen to the very end. I promise it'll be worth it, because we're going to help you raise and lift up all that judgmental attitudes that you might have been secretly harboring and not even known yourself about, knowing that part of yourself. So it might not be known in you. God, it's like I'm trying to... I forgot to turn off the hawk. Hawk is scolding me. A string tone ever freaks out the doves, though. The other day went off and I had my phone next to the window. Oh, I was taking beautiful pictures today. If you are my friend on Facebook, go look at my my day, because I mean, the sky was an absolute golden white. We're not in the third dimension anymore, guys. The pictures I took of the sky today prove it to me. I've never seen skies like this. I mean, sure, we've all seen an orangey yellow sky. I mean, I'm talking gold. We can squeeze the sky and wring it out. We can make it into a gold watch. Anyway, I'm going to be right back, and we are going to talk about forgiveness and judging others, and we're going to look at one of the worst parts of human society, and we're going to delve deep, really deep. If I was Ralph Smart, this would be the time. Okay, deep divers. I love him so much. He always says, deep divers. But that's, that's what I am. I'm a deep diver. Sometimes we got to look at the hard stuff, because I'm not unlike my beautiful Richie, who he talks about the shadow side too, but he also is very fluffy bunny rainbow. In fact, he carries around a rainbow unicorn, and that's a part of his video. So that's why I said it will cheer you up. He's hilarious. But we have to look at the harder parts of society. We have to confront it. We got to confront it in ourselves, and we got to confront it when we're judging it in others, because we need to pull it up, pull it out, let it go, let it be, and accept that was a part of the third dimension. It was just part of the grand experiment. You can't have a God without a Lucifer in that schematic. Can't have good without evil. You don't know what good is if you've never experienced evil. You don't know what being rich is like if you've never experienced poor, or the other way around. You don't know what cold is like if you've never experienced hot. That's what we're going to talk about today a little bit. When we come back, I'm going to read you an extremely powerful message channeled by God, by a friend of mine who's in prison. Not little baby jail. He's not been there for a week. No, federal prison. After 25 years in federal prison, I'm going to read you a letter about what he learned. Stick around to the end. Be right back. Hey you, have you ever thought about having your own podcast like me? Was it even a New Year's resolution? For me, it sure was. But as I've been looking into this for months, I was daunted. There's so many questions I had. When I was trying to get this off the ground, I was wondering, how do I record the episode? How do I get it across all the platforms? How do I get my podcast on Apple Podcasts when I don't even have an iPhone? How do I get it onto Spotify and all the other places? How do I get people to listen? And how do I make money from my podcast? How do I edit it? Oh my God, I had all these questions and I was so confused until I discovered the simple answer is Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and it is ridiculously easy to use. And now Anchor can match you with great sponsors too, so you could get paid to podcast. All you need to do is record it. You don't have to go out and look for people to advertise on your show. They help you. So basically what I like about podcasting is I don't have to have a video of myself. You don't know if my hair is dirty or if I'm still in my pajamas or even if I'm wearing makeup. Haha. And it's so easy. I could do this from the comfort of my own home in my living room using this amazing app right from my cell phone. So easy, right? So if you've always wanted to start your own podcast and make money, by the way, doing it, please go to anchor.fm/start. That is anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters that are already using Anchor. Again, that's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast and I can't wait to favorite you. Woohoo! Let's be broadcast podcast buddies. I'll see you there. Okay, so get prepared to be blown away. Oh, and now it's 11:44 when I started this recording, and I'm looking at a beautiful golden sunlight that does not even look real, cast over what looks like San Francisco Bay. Oh yeah, there's a Bay Bridge in the background. Different angle. I think this might be from the financial district looking out. Oh, I love Google Chromecast. My son is out on a date tonight, so I'm able to do this in the living room. Hopefully I'm not bugging the neighbors. It's late-ish, but it's Friday night. It's Ecuador. I mean, people do go out. Okay. So I moved to Detroit in 2014. If you've been listening to me for a while, you kind of know the story. I moved there and within 2 weeks broke my leg. In fact, I didn't tell you guys this before, but the day after I broke my leg, I was supposed to go buy a truck. It was like a really nice truck, and I was going to go buy it. And that was going to be how I moved and got around, and I was going to start working in mystery shopping again. I used to do mystery shopping. And anyway, it's neither here nor there. But so I was going to buy a truck. Well, I broke my driving leg, so that was out. And I was also supposed to go on a date with a guy who is a professional dancer, and he had promised me to teach me the tango. And I've been chomping at the bit to learn the tango. It's like the hottest, sexiest dance. It takes 2 years to learn the Argentine tango, and I really wanted to learn it. And I met him online. I can't remember how. Maybe it was just a normal social site. It wasn't like a dating app or anything. Another picture of the Bay Bridge comes up, of course. I've been thinking about San Francisco so much. Anyway, but because I had broken my leg and now I'm in a cast, this guy was like, well, maybe we should just, reschedule when you're no longer in a cast. And I'm like, I need surgery. I'm going to be in a cast for like 5 or 6 months after the surgery, which ended up being a 4-hour surgery, and I have metal rods in my leg. So it was just like, go back to, Mayhem. I think it's like a show, I forgot the title now. It's like, Magic and Mayhem or Mayhem. And anyway, it's just, or maybe it's Trusting the Universe's Plan for You. I mean, that might have been the name of it. I told this whole story, like all these horrible, horrible things that happened to me, but it was God saving me from making a terrible mistake or being with a person that ended up being a terrible person. And so this probably was no different. I mean, this dancer might have been just a shallow creep that would have used me. I don't know. Or maybe that would have kept me away from my one true love, my twin flame, who I'm still waiting for. I don't know. And what was hilarious is right when I got the cast off, he got back together with me, to talk to me again. And he's like, oh, well, guess what? I'm free now. And I'd love to have that date now because I had a girlfriend for the past 6 months, but we broke up. So everything's cool. I'm free again. And I'm like, what? That's so weird. And then I'm like, well, maybe next week. And he said, okay, great. I get my cast off next week. And a week later, he's like, well, I can't do it because I met a new girl. God saves you. Anyway, during 2014, how did I meet? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I got on a dating app, and the dating app was, and this is hilarious, for millionaires and millionaires only. And you put up your best pictures, and the millionaires vote on whether they believe you are a millionaire or not. Totally ridiculous, right? And I thought, oh, well, I'm laying in bed in a cast. I got nothing better to do. This is hilarious. Let's go. So I put up my, pictures from the neck up because I'm like wearing my bathrobe because I'm in bed with a cast. I'm like hobbling over to the window that I freshly painted. I painted my windows to look like stained glass, so it makes me look rich, So I had this profile in this weird app, and everyone voted me in. Oh, she must be rich. I'm like, well, I'm so glad they think that because I really wasn't. I just bought my new house. It cost $9,000. Detroit. It's a fixer. Beautiful, beautiful house, but it's a fixer. So I get on this app, and out of all the people that I met on there, and there's like chat rooms, and I'm like talking to all these cool people, and half of them I think were fishing for millionaires, and half of them were millionaires or posers. I don't know. But out of all the people in the whole app that I really related to and really became solid, good friends with, talked to all, like really often, was my friend Pedro Pablo Mercado Ortega. God rest his soul. He died of a heroin overdose 9 months ago now, actually. And I loved him with a passion. He was from Puerto Rico, and he was not rico. He was very pobrecito. He was so poor. He had no money. He's like, let's meet on Facebook. Okay, we got on Facebook. He's like, I am broke AF. Broke AF. I'm like, yeah, me too, actually. He's like, oh man, I was hoping you'd be my sugar mama. I'm like, I was hoping you'd whisk me away in your jet, but okay. But we became very good friends. He was an artist and a musician, and also had multiple personality disorder. And one of his personalities put some extremely inappropriate things on Facebook, and then went and did heroin and died. So he was killed by one of his alter egos. So I love him with all my heart. I know he's up in heaven going, damn it. I know he misses me. I miss him too. He's like such a good friend. He always made me laugh. One of his alter egos was a woman. So he dressed in a hot pink, sexy like dress and high heels and hot pink wig, and he put lipstick on, and it was just so crazy because the next day he'd go, oh man, I was a girl again yesterday. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about all the inappropriate things she said on Facebook. And he only had like 10 friends that he shared this stuff with because it was so crazy that most people couldn't handle him. So from the millionaires, I met my friend who literally was certifiably insane, but extremely entertaining and a very lovely, filled with love kind of person. Also the funniest kind of sarcasm. So I loved him. He was also a writer. He was super amazing. Wrote poetry, would write to me. He'd call me on Facebook and read poetry to me and tell me, fantasies, what he wants to do with me. And this is what he wanted to do with me. I want to sit in front of a roaring fire. You have your typewriter and I have mine. We're writing our novels together. It was so amazing. Anyway, God bless his soul. Well, the second person that I met was complicated. Extremely complicated. But there's something magnetic in his eyes. There was something intense about him, but a deep, profound spirituality. And at first I thought he was just BSing me, but the more I got to know him, the more I realized this guy is a real deal. And he says, I have a strange screenplay idea for you since you're a writer. I'm like, sure, tell me. He goes, suppose there's a boy who's barely a man. He's around 19 years old. And let's suppose he's in a gang called the Crips in Los Angeles. And let's suppose he became very good marksman. Ooh, good. He could drop someone in the rival gang in a heartbeat from a very far distance away. And he became so good that, let's suppose he was hired by a mafia. And let's suppose they threatened to kill him if he didn't do what they asked. And let's suppose he became an assassin now, not only for the gang, but also for the mafia. What do you think that would be? And let's suppose that he gets arrested. He gets finally gets caught for one of the murders. And let's suppose that while he was put in jail under his father's name and not even his own name, because in the hood and in LA and in America, a black man is equal to any other black man, and they're not at all equal to anyone else in the country. Let's suppose that they don't even bother to check. They don't even care. Let's suppose that your father says, use my name so that you don't smear your good name. I'm an old man. I don't need to leave the country, and I don't need, even though I will be free, I don't need to be free as much as I want you to be because you're my son and I love you. And let's suppose that this, it's 11:55 right now, and there's this insane sunlight coming through a cave and shining on a golden, what looks like a Thai. It looks like it's in Thailand. And there's this enormous fairy in the background. Oh, there's another one. Ooh, I see nature spirits. Some people say I see dead people. No, me, I'm seeing 5, 6, 7 nature spirits in this picture. So I don't know. That's the energy for right now. Whew, a lot of double digits today. It's so awesome. Anyway, and he said, so let's suppose that they didn't even bother to check. but they went ahead and put this man in jail under his own father's name instead. Let's suppose that they don't even care when it's brought up that that's not even me. You're jailing me under the wrong name. And let's suppose everything I just told you was true. Let's suppose everything I just told you is my honest to God true story. And let's just suppose that I'm in jail now serving my 25 years. And let's suppose while I'm in jail, somebody else's ass gets popped, gets capped. And in, gangster language, that means somebody else got murdered. While he was in jail, he got charged for that murder too. And it took months before the prosecutor finally dropped the case because he ignored the timeline. He's a black man. He's disposable. He's a black man. He's not worth anything. He's a gangster, so he doesn't deserve any kind of decent treatment. That's how the system is. If you're a black man in America in a gang and you got caught for murdering somebody. Now, what do normally you hear in every movie ever made about any prison ever? Oh, well, we're all in the joint, but we're innocent. We're all innocent. Everyone's innocent here. And that's a joke. When I met this guy, he says, oh, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of sin, and I deserve to be here. I'm glad I'm here. I am not going to lie to you, and I'm not going to turn to Jesus and, try to get out early. I'm going to do what I need to do to survive in here. But he said early on, he started praying and praying hard, and he started attracting books to him. Books on Buddhism, books on spirituality. I even mailed him right directly from Amazon. You can't send anybody anything in jail from your home, but you can send something directly from Amazon, and the prison guards have to open it and make sure that nobody touched it except for Amazon Fulfillment Center. So I sent him Autobiography of a Yogi, and it made him cry. And he was like, thank you so much for saying that to me, because that's like really, really intense, So we started a correspondence, and he's like, I gotta tell you something. Obviously, I got on this stupid millionaire app as a laugh. Clearly, I'm not a millionaire. I literally have nothing. I've been in jail for 21 years. And he's like, to be honest, this is the first cell phone I've seen in 20 years, and my mind is freaking blown. He started looking up different things, and he's like, I can't believe how many movies I missed. I can't believe how much the outside world fashion has changed. He didn't know that people are wearing super, super baggy pants. He's like, what the hell's up with that? He says, I don't know, Elena. I don't know. And he calls me baby girl because when I was born, my mom gave me up for adoption, and my first name was baby girl. And I told him that. So he calls me baby girl. And it's not just, it's not like a sexist term. In this case, it literally is my very first name and middle name. So he's just like, baby girl, my God, the world has changed so much. I don't know if I could survive on the outside. He's like, will you be there for me? I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to be in the world, but right now I live in Detroit. And he's like, oh, my daddy was from Detroit. That's why they sent me to Michigan. I'm like, no way, you're in Michigan. He's like, yeah, I'm in Michigan. How cool is that? Well, but then at the end of his trial, at the end of his 25 years, he has to go back to California because he was booked, and he was arrested and booked and declared guilty in California. So when you start in California, you got to end in California because it's a federal prison system. So it's strange. But anyway, so he's just like, what else is new? What else is going on? And he says, I need you to go to a place called jpay.com. And I'm like, oh, great. Here it comes. He's asking me for money. He said, all I want from you is it's going to cost you a couple dollars for stamps, like 25 cents per stamp. but every page is a stamp, and you can mail me, but only through the internet. And then the prison guards will read every word you write, and then they will give it to me if you don't mention any gangster or criminal activity. I'm like, so don't bring up the Crips or the color blue. And he goes, you got it. I'm like, okay, great. And the more we talked, the more I realized that he was in Compton when I was working in Los Angeles, very close to Compton. And he was 19 years old when he got caught. He was a baby. He's exactly the same age as my oldest kid. And he got roped into this. And he was in the thug life early on because he didn't have any support, really, not a lot of support in his life. And that's just the way it goes. Mom and dad are divorced. Mom's got to work. Dad's gone. They had no support. And I literally worked in that hood. And I dated an OG, original gangster from the Crips. And when I started dating him, I did not know that. And I knew him for many, many months before he came clean and said, look, I got a past I got to talk to you about. He had done 4 years in jail for attempted murder. But when I met him, he was super spiritual. So I knew that it was possible. And this is going to be hard to swallow for some of you guys, but leading yourself down this kind of super, super crazy dark path, sometimes for some people is the greatest key to the path of their spirituality opening up. This is how they awaken. Some people choose this path. Like masters will choose to come back as people with Down syndrome. Because people, I don't know if you've ever noticed people with Down syndrome, while they have that short circuit thing where they could get really angry in a heartbeat, when you look at the other side of it, they're so loving. They're so filled with light. Like you could see a God inside there. Their soul is like so deeply, profoundly spiritual, but they can't express it. So they can only send love out with their eyes, and it's like radiating. It fills a room and it makes you giddy and happy. If you ever come across someone with Down syndrome, they're probably a spiritual master in disguise. So, don't let them freak you out. Just look past the appearances. So, and like in this case with my friend, his real name is Torrance Black. He gave me permission to use his name. He gave me permission to read this beautiful letter that brought me to my knees. I cried when I read this. Because we've been talking now for 5 years, and I've been telling him all this spiritual stuff. Every time I read a book, I'm like, okay, this is a summary of this book. This is a this of this book. Here's a spiritual insight I got. And he'll write me back with his spiritual insights and his books that he read. So I got to send him a new book, though. I might have a couple books I got to send out to him. But he is a whole man. He told me, baby girl, I became a man in prison. That's harsh, but I became a real man, and I read books on what it's like to be a real man. What do you need to do? He did all the research. He's like, I don't want to get out and get right back into prison. 25 years. I've spent more of my life in prison than I had my life on the outside. And he said, God gave me a timeout, and I needed it. I deserved it. I committed the worst crime, the worst sin against God there is to kill one of his own. I deserved it. That was the only one I got caught for. He's like, I'm not going to talk about the others, but I'm not going to talk about anything else, but that's the one I got caught for. And then they tried to book me for another one that happened while I was in prison. That's really crazy. And it almost stuck. How can that almost stick? Anyway, but he did deserve, I am not going to deny that. He deserved it. Every bit of what he got, he deserved it. That's the crappiest karma there is, when you know you deserve it and you get the worst possible thing. Your freedom is taken away. He hasn't smelled the perfume of a woman in 25 years. He hasn't touched a woman's cheek in 25 years. He hasn't hugged his mama in 25 years. He hasn't celebrated, birthdays of people in his family or his friends. He probably has, he hasn't done any of that. Nothing. He hasn't gone out to the movies. He hasn't gone out to a restaurant. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's like if it's a week and I haven't seen a movie, I go crazy. I write movies. I love movies. I'm a writer. I love the dialogue and the costuming and when it's horrible, my God, I'll write the worst review, and I love that too. They finally got in federal prison, and this is cool. They have tablets because they feel that they need to learn about the real world before they get out, finally. Because the world has changed so much. Like, I don't think Kevin Torrance, I don't even think he knows anything at all about like vaping or I mean, it's just crazy, all the weird stuff in this world. I don't know if he even knows about any of that. He's going to be like a fresh baby born new into the world when he gets out. He'll probably go to a halfway house and kind of figure it out. He has to get a job, has to prove his worth in the community. But he's already looking into businesses to start. He's so excited. Anyway, I'm going to read this to you, what he wrote to me. I told him about my podcast. I go, I haven't talked to you in like 3 months because I started the most amazing podcast, Metaphysical Soul Speak, and I really love it. I feel like it's my calling and my passion. I spent my whole life learning about God and spirituality, and now I'm giving my 2 cents to the world. It's going to be for my grandkids. It's going to be for my great-grandkids. If they don't know me, they'll know me through my podcast. It's for the world. This is my gift I give to the world. It's absolutely free to hear. It's always going to be free. And I'm doing this because I love everybody. I learned to love everybody in the whole wide world, no matter what they did wrong, no matter who they are, no matter about their beliefs, no matter anything. Not only did I learn to love, I'm like learning to accept. I still sometimes have a hard time with that acceptance, but I think I'm almost there 100%. Still getting there, So he says to me, "Congratulations. I'm happy for you. Unfortunately, I don't have access to listen to your podcast, yet I bet it's very deep. I wish you the most success. I know you will do great. You have great thoughts. Therefore, greatest is your destiny." Well, I got my parole date. It's projectively set for June 4th, but they are sending me to California first. But soon afterwards, I should be home free. Yet, only time will tell. But I've been keeping my thoughts positive and realizing my divinity more and more each day. I'm learning that I have the ability to unhinge and unlimit my mind so that I can be all I can be. These times are the greatest of all times in my recorded history. Though they are difficult and challenging times, I've chosen to live here during this time for the purpose of unfolding. Prison has helped me discover myself. My greatest conquest was of myself, coming to terms with my own existence. I was a man who hated and despised, who murdered and stole and cheated right into my enlightenment. When I learned to love myself and embrace the whole of life, I discovered my divinity. I realized how small and helpless man is in his ignorance about himself and how great he becomes when he extends himself into knowledge of self. I learned that whatever man contemplates long enough, merely by desire he will become. If man tells himself long enough that he is evil, soulless, powerless, he will believe it and become it. And if he calls himself God, he is going to become God. I learned to love myself when I compared myself with something great and infinite. My life became fulfilled when I took hold of all my understanding and I focused it on myself. That is when the peace came. That is when I began to know more. That is when I became one with God. I found the answers within me that allowed me to expand into a greater understanding. I am ready to be free again. But I realize when you have knowledge, you will always be free, always. For the door to freedom called knowledge is there for you, who will open your thought processes to a grander understanding and then live that understanding, not outside of you, but inside of you. Baby girl, you have been a blessing to me. Ever since you connected with me, you are God. You always have been. You always will be. You are the great immortal creator who has been living here life after life after life to realize this grand understanding that you allowed to be taken away from you. All of us are God himself, created of himself. We are gods created of God, the first and only direct creation of the source of all life. In our adventures into the exploration of life, we have integrated our supreme intelligence with cellular matter to become God/man. The mind of God expressing in the form called humanity, God's living in the wonderment of our own creation, termed man. You created your life through your own thought processes by how you think. Everything you think, you will feel, and all that you feel manifests to create the conditions of your life. You are precisely what you are thinking. Everything you think, so will it be in your life. How is your future created? Through thought. All of your tomorrows are designed by your thoughts this very moment. For every thought you entertain, every fantasy you have, for whatever emotional purpose, creates a feeling within your body, which is recorded within your soul. That feeling then sets a precedent for the conditions in your life, for it will draw to you circumstances that will create and match the same feeling that has been recorded in your soul. And know that every word you utter is creating your days to come, for words are only sounds that express the feelings within your soul that you have been given birth to through your thought. Everything that happens to you, you have thought and felt in your life. Either it has been fantasized in what ifs or in fears, or someone has told you something would be, and you accepted it as a truth. Everything that happens as an intentional act that is ordained through thought and emotion. Everything everything that you have ever thought, every fantasy you have ever had, all the things you have spoken have all come to pass or are waiting to come to pass. Thought is a true giver of life that never dies, that never can be destroyed, and you have used it to think yourself into life. For it is your link to the mind of God. We are gods who possess within the silence of our being the ability to think, the ability to create, and the ability to become whatever we want to become. For we are this moment, what we chose to be, and no one can stop us from becoming it. We are the lawgiver, the supreme creator of our life and life circumstances. We are the supreme ruler of all wise intelligence that we have failed to fully realize before. What is God in its most exalted form? Thought. The platform from which you create your life, the substance and life force of all things, is in a greater understanding thought. For thought is the ultimate creator of all things that are, that ever have been, that ever will be. Thought is the substance from which all things are created. Everything that has come forth first from thought, which is the supreme intelligence called the mind of God. Without thought, your body would not exist. Matter would not exist. Nothing would exist, for thought is the creator and supportive element of all life. Alanna, you are loved greater than you ever have considered love to be. I thank you for being in my life. We shall forever be connected. Love always, Kevin. So that was the letter he wrote me. Kevin was his father's name, or is his father's name. I don't know if his father passed or not, but Kevin was his father's name that they jailed him under. And for 25 years, he's gone under this name. They didn't bother to check. They didn't care. But it doesn't matter. Because when he gets out, he's Torrance Black once again. And when he gets out, he gets to be free. He said the first thing he's going to do is go to the beach. That'd be the first thing I do too. Go hop in the water. Go feel the water. So how do you guys feel about that? That's a letter from a man who went down the darkest road. He walked where angels fear to tread. He witnessed his friends die. He caused the enemy to die. He's a murderer. He's a stone cold murderer from 25 years ago. But that's not a letter of a stone cold murderer anymore, because he overcame his most dark, evil animal nature. And in the end, there can only be God, guys. Are you judging this man for what he did? Not all people that sit 25 years in a cell end up with this form of enlightenment and knowledge about self. He repeated a lot of things that he said again and again, and then he put a different spin and a different angle on it in different ways. He's got a lot of time to think in that cell. He's got a lot of time to think in that cell. He's only got 2 more months left. 2 months from today, he will be a free man. He's going to be released, paroled on June 4th. Then the government will keep an eye on him for another few years. And after that, he'll be truly free. He'll be free to travel. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. At least travel in the U.S. But I have grown to love this person. He's a very good friend, solid friend. We talk this deep or deeper. Many times we've had these talks. In the beginning, he was still struggling with some issues. Even 5 years ago, he says, I'm seeing the light. I'm seeing the light. I know. I have 5 years left. When I met him, he'd served, what's that, 75%? Ugh, God, this is not a math show. Get a calculator. I'm just kidding. I'm talking to myself. Get a calculator, Elena. So anyway, he had 5 years. He had 1/5 of his sentence left when I met him. And now he has 2 months left. And he's come a long way even in that 5 years. And he told me, he's like, I already have a business plan. I'm like, you know what? You need to do a podcast. It's free to start and you can get paid and we'll talk about what to do, because if he could speak to the people that just got out about being good from now on, that might be his audience, Anyway. It's 12:22. Yet one more time. Boy, it's interesting. And it says, chameleon's dream, no more lies. It has a picture of a wall art that someone painted, and it's a picture of a chameleon. And in the center of his chest, his red heart beats through his skin. You could see it a little bit, like he's got a lot of love, and he's imagining all these bugs around him. No more lies. That would be a chameleon's dream, He's not going to hide anymore. His heart is showing. Pretty cool. Pretty cool, guys. So, can you forgive my friend for what he did 25 years ago? Probably even before that, 26, 27, 20 years ago. Can you forgive any murderer? Can you forgive the action? In Conversations with God, it said that even murderers can go to prison. I mean, what? No, wait, yeah, murderers could go to prison. Oh my God, that was weird. I said that. No, I'm sorry. God did not say that. That now is when we need the hawk going, watching you. You're saying the wrong thing. No, I'm sorry. In Conversations with God, I get distracted by pictures of cows. There's cows. Oh my God, easily distracted. It's not even a shiny object. It's just a bunch of, they're little short cows from Ireland. So I'm like, cows. Okay. They're, I think, Jersey dairy cow. Anyway, I don't know. They all are. So Guernsey. Anyway, not important, Elena. ADHD. Stay on track. Okay. In Conversations with God, God told Neil Donald Walsh that people who kill other people can still go to heaven. Because what is the worst thing that they did? They killed somebody. Oh my God. That person died. Let's revitalize that for a minute. Let's bring that up. Did that person die? As a psychic medium, I could tell you for dang sure. No, I'm still talking to that person. I talked to my grandma and grandpa the other day. They showed up. A few weeks ago, I was making Italian food. My great-great-grandma came by from Sicily. I'm not Italian, but my stepmother was. And my great-great-grandmother loves me as if I'm her own. And she has sent me a lot of amazing recipes from beyond the grave. Oh, I love Italian food. I should have been born Italian, but I talk to dead people all the time. They talk back. And I've given people information that only they would know about their dead loved ones. I did this for a living for many years. So, do people die? No. And when a murderer murders somebody and that somebody goes back to heaven, there's several things in play here. Number one, This was a contract that they had with each other before they were even born on Earth. First of all. Second of all, that person didn't die. That person did not kill that other person. Third of all, why would God say, fifth commandment to Moses from on high on Mount Sinai? Why? Why would God say, thou shalt not kill? What are you really doing? You're stopping a life that might have not been quite finished contractually. And now this person has to be born and start over again. It's a big pain in the ass. And now more karma is involved with these two people, and the end of the schematic gets pushed out farther. It kind of puts a jumbled mess into the works if there wasn't a contractual thing between the two people. So, you know, plus you have everyone hating you, then you go to jail, and then your life, you just screwed your life, and now you're effed for God knows how many more lifetimes. If you don't serve your dues at that moment, it's gonna come. Karma always comes. So, what's really happening there? Murderer A kills innocent B. Maybe that person isn't innocent. Maybe they deserved what they got. You know, sometimes when you're rolling in this kind of a situation, you kind of aren't squeaky clean either, right? Usually. Dollars to donuts more often than not, maybe 75%. Now, occasionally, a bullet might accidentally scrape that person and go and accidentally kill a kid, and that's a tragedy. Or maybe the kid had a contract with the killer as well before they were born. Maybe that was how it was supposed to happen, because maybe when a baby or a little kid dies from a stray bullet, maybe, and I don't condone any of this behavior. I don't condone violence, and I don't condone gangsters. I don't condone the lifestyle, but I understand why it happens in the hood, especially in that hood where he was in, because I worked there. I helped kids stay out of the gangs. That's one of the things I did down there. I helped them stay off drugs and out of the gangs, and my kids were all gay or lesbian or transgender. They were queer one way or another. They were the LGBTQIA community. I loved each and every one of them as if they were my own kids. It was hard working in that hood, boy. Ooh. I almost got a bullet in my chest. If I hadn't dove off a staircase, I would have had a bullet go clean through me. Came home late one night, saw a guy had crashed his car because I think he was drunk. His ghost didn't really stop and talk to me. I wasn't really talking to dead people yet. I didn't hear them yet, but saw his dead body, blood and more all over the road. And another time I saw some people beating up another guy in the middle of the road. I had to drive around the pool of blood, act like I didn't see nothing. I don't know nothing. Don't look at me. Don't look for me. Hard hood. It was a hard place to work. In the dead center of this neighborhood. Why would you have these kids in this neighborhood, you might ask? Haha, there he is. There's our favorite hawk. Well, I'll tell you. Charity organizations that help children don't normally have a whole hell of a lot of money. And so they had to buy the house that they could afford. And that was in the hood. And a lot of these kids came from the hood anyway. And what message would it send if now they're living in the valley and sitting prettier in Beverly Hills, God forbid? Not God forbid from my point of view, but from the Beverly Hills people. So the thing is, in Conversations with God, God said to Neil Donald Walsh, when somebody is murdered, they have temporary physical pain. A lot of times they'll leave their body before they feel the brunt of all of it. And then, well, as you know from a show I did a few weeks ago, they cross over Bardo. They go across, they get told they're dead and blah, 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 and kind of get orientation. And then they go to heaven, where they are surrounded with all of their loved ones who passed before them, all of their friends that were already not incarnate and waiting for them, with their spirit guide who is their one true best friend forever in all the cosmos. Your spirit guide takes 10,000 Earth years to get to know everything about you in every single lifetime, from the moment your soul was conceived by God to your death from this life, which is really a birth, honestly, into heaven. That person knows and loves you more than you know yourself. They know everything you've done, said, thought, believed throughout every single lifetime on every single planet you've ever lived. You don't even remember that. I don't even remember that about myself. So what is the true crime there? Sending someone into the loving, open arms of the divine, surrounded by nothing but love, peace, joy, the high vibes of the 7th dimension. Now the 9th, because as above, so below, as below, so above. We're all moving to the 5th. We're in the 5th now. Guess what? Heaven had to move. I had a few weeks there where I couldn't talk to nobody. Even after my Angel of Death night, if you go back a few nights to hear that one, the last day of March, I couldn't even talk to Jesus, Brother Yeshua, for 3 whole days. He telepathed to me. He's like, little sister, I am done. I'm sorry. I cannot talk to you for like 3 days. I am so busy because I am coming back. By your actions, now I got to come back. I'm like, oh man, but cool. Can't wait to see you, bro. Oh, hey, now I'm looking at it's 12:33 and I'm looking at street art someone did on the sidewalk. A portrait of Vincent van Gogh. And how great is that? A taxi driver we met the other day. There are 5,000 taxi drivers in Cuenca, Ecuador. And we met a guy from Madrid, Spain the other day, and his name was Vincent, like Vincent van Gogh. And I told him, he said, I hate my name. It's so ugly. I'm like, it's not ugly. He's like, it's not. I'm like, it's not feo. Feo means ugly in Spanish. I'm like, no, es feo. Es muy bueno. He's like, ¿por qué? I'm like, ¿por qué? Vincent van Gogh. You don't hate your name because Vincent van Gogh, one of the greatest artists that ever lived. He's one of my favorites. He had an indomitable spirit. Even though through the mental illness, he worked through it and created the most beautiful art ever. And then ate the lead paints, but we're not talking about that. God rest his poor ear. Anyway, so my son got into a taxi today, like less than a week later, and wouldn't you know it, ran into Vincent, our taxi driver from Madrid. Now, how weird is that? 5,000 taxi drivers, and he just happens to catch. We caught it from our house to somewhere, and he caught him downtown coming back here. I mean, it's like a 30-minute drive, 30-minute drive, so it's kind of, anyway. I just had to bring that up because I'm like, okay, if the name Vincent keeps coming up for you, well, it just came up for me twice today, 3 times this week. Might be a sign. I'm going to have to look up tomorrow what it means and announce it to you guys. Anyway, if this story was disturbing for you, I want you to focus on what disturbs you about it. What makes you want to point a finger. And notice that when you point one finger out at someone else, there's a few pointing back at you also. What you do not like about this. What makes you really upset? Do you know someone who was murdered? I do. I forgive her, killer. my best friend Annie, when I was 19. Actually, I was 18. She was 19, and she was murdered in her bed while she slept. Never found the killer. 33 years later, and never found the killer. So, but you know what? He was clearly crazy, and she was already suffering in her life, and she had already lived a full life, and she went to heaven. She's visited me a couple times. I love her so much. I'm going to see her again. You're going to see your people again. So this week, please work on forgiving other people that have done the worst crimes. You don't have to look up the crimes. You don't need to bring the negativity into the world. Negativity, I can't even say that word. You don't have to bring the negativity in the world. You don't have to relive it. I mean, you might a little, though. That will unhinge it from your soul. It will unhinge it from your body. You can do it. If you could forgive the worst. Jesus said, Brother Yeshua said, if you can love the least of these, my brethren, you can enter the kingdom of heaven, right? Or if you love the least of these, my brothers, you can love me too. You know, he loved everybody, did he not? He hugged the lepers. St. Francis of Assisi, he hugged the lepers. The horror people of society. Ugh, we don't want to touch them. My God, we might get a rash. Do you know that there are leper colonies now that live as lepers? And they don't have to because there's medicine they can be done in a month. But because it's in the Bible, they want to live that. They came here specifically to live that. I find it very odd, but you know what? I'm not going to judge. I accept them too. With a 10-foot pole. My middle name is Francis, but I'm not going to go hug no leper. Sorry. I'll hug a leopard. But not, I'm sorry. But no, if you're a leper, I'm sorry. Sorry. Don't mean to offend. I'm just trying to be funny. Hey, yoga. So, yeah. It is what it is. If you can learn to love my friend and others like him, and the ones that didn't even find God, and they're still stuck and entrenched in that darkness, you don't have to invite them over for supper. You don't have to become a part of their family. You don't have to talk at them or look at them. Nothing. But can you accept them? Can you understand that everything comes from God? Every molecule and atom in this universe comes from God. And that means, baby, even the dregs, horrible people, the icky, evil ones. Even my charge in Guatemala, whose eyes turned black right before my face, and I denied him in that moment, I still love him and accept him. Not going to ever talk to him again. I'm never going to pay for another can of beer. Never going to buy him a bag of potato chips again. I'm not going to buy his weed anymore. He doesn't deserve me. But, you know, not here in this level or plane of existence, but I still love him. I still accept him, and I forgive him. And I forgive my friend. Because there's nothing to forgive. That's not my path to walk. The path I walk is the one in which I point out where we need to look at the shadow and bring it into our conscious awareness so that we could be free ourselves and get the ascension and go to the fifth dimension where we're going to love every moment. And there's no more duality. Good and evil won't exist when we get way up there. We're just in the bottom rung, clearing out those last little bits of shaking off the dirt and dust off our boots of this crummy little town called the 3D. Because, baby, this is a wonderful life we're headed towards. I love each and every one of you, but that's all I've got to say about that for tonight. I am signing off with peace and joy and love and forgiveness and the high vibes of the holy fifth dimension. Until next time, maybe a Grandma Marion story tomorrow, so you want to stick around for those. Love you very much. Talk to you soon. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.